Hi guys, today I'm talking to Charlie Clark, a Scottish musician who's worked with a whole host of acts. He's now recently signed to Alan Mcgee's new label, It's Creation Baby. For anyone who doesn't know, Alan Mcgee was the man who found Oasis back in the day. Charlie's just telling us a little bit about how he's been getting on in coronavirus, what it's like with It's Creation Baby, and his new single and an upcoming album. Hi guys, got Charlie Clark here with me today. Hi Charlie, thanks very much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Cameron. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Just first of all, just I know that you've been in quite a few different bands over the years and stuff like that. So just if you can just give us a bit of background to yourself and your sort of music history.
So I first started in a band called Astrid. That was kind of the first band that I started sort of putting records out with when I was about 17. That was all my pals. I'm from Stornoway up in the Western Isles, Isla Lewis, and my best pal, Willie Campbell, we kind of grew up together. We sort of all ended up in Glasgow, sort of about 1996. And we started that band. And at that point, we were all sort of sharing flats with Stevie Jackson from Bell and Sebastian, Willie, and there's a guy called Warren McIntyre from the Moondials. He was in a band with Stevie, and the drummer of the Moondials ended up joining Astrid. And it was all this kind of terribly incestuous Glasgow thing at the time. And I think when Bell and Sebastian did their first ever tour, they never toured with Tiger Milk. But when they did If You're Feeling Sinister, they were forced to tour. They were I think they were quite a difficult band to tour back then. They asked Astrid to go away, and we ended up signing to Fantastic Plastic Records, and that was it for Astrid for the next sort of 7 years or whatever. We did 3 albums and then kind of broke up. But in amongst that, the kind of time of Glasgow that was, it was when before Snow Patrol had any success, Gary Lightbody had sort of put together a side project called the Reindeer Section. And all 4 members of Astrid were in both albums, and we were part of the core group for that for 3 years, I think. And that project featured pretty much a member or 2 from every band in Glasgow at the time, from Arab Strat Tidal, Wild to Mull Historical Society, to B-Twin, to Bell and Sebastian, to Teenage Fan Club, to the Vasselines. So the list went on. There was 27 people in it by the end. So as you can imagine, that was good fun. And then after Astrid broke up and we had finished the Reindeer Section thing, I played with the Zephyrs from Edinburgh for a bit. I did an album with them called Bright Yellow Flowers on a Dark Double Bed. So I did that album, recorded it, and toured it for the best part of a year. And then I got another band together then called Our Lunar Activities with my brother. And we sort of did okay for a little bit. But at that point, I had started putting gigs on and stuff as well, about 2005. So I was doing a club night in the Goat in Glasgow. And basically that was it. I really got into that side of things for a long time, managing bands. I managed a 2-piece hardcore band called Bronto Skylift from Inverness, who I loved. Took them over to America, did a tour and all that kind of 7-inch records. All that kind of the usual indie shit, So that's just really always played music.
Yeah, cool. Very big history there. And so how do those sort of previous projects compare to what you're doing now?
Well, this is sort of mine, this is my baby, and it's been the first time that I've done loads of guest vocal things. It's always usually vocals. Like Astrid were known for our harmonies. So that was kind of like a thing that Willie and I would get asked to play in a lot of records, because we can sing well together, but we can arrange harmonies really well together as well. And so that was kind of like the thing, my go-to thing for years. But I'd never written like a bunch of songs that I felt like told a story and would be something that I would be really proud of. And I maybe had a couple of different attempts at trying to get the sound that I'm going for here on other records, like solo EPs. I've never done a full album, but I did a record in 2013 called Feel Something, which Edwin Collins put out in his AED label. just like a 10-inch small run of vinyl kind of thing. And that EP actually did really well for me. But that was a long time ago. But it didn't quite capture where I want to go sonically. So that's how, but you know, getting into a Jason Shaw, that just changed everything. So I'd done all the demos, I'd done videos for them, and I'd posted them online, and Jason approached me, and that's how we ended up making the album. So it was a totally different experience. It was more, you know, like even the Aftermath, it's more just like it's quite a personal album as well. And there's a lot of like really personal shit that isn't kind of nice to talk about on there too. So it's like you sort of feel like you're running up and down the street naked, because I'm at the point now I'm doing interviews and a lot of people want to ask about that stuff, you know. So that's weird, you know, but it's so personal. I'm really happy with the sound that came out. It was just a totally different experience.
Oh, awesome. And you recently got signed to It's Creation Baby, and that's, for anyone who doesn't know, is Alan Mcgee, who's most famous for finding Oasis, his new record label. So yeah, how did that sort of come about, I guess?
I booked Alan to do a Q&A and show a film up in Stornoway in the Arts Centre there. And we sort of knew each other. We'd done an event 10 years ago with him, but I don't think he had a clue who I was really. But anyway, Willie and I picked him up from the airport, and we did the event, but we just ended up having a riot. Like, we just ended up having a really good laugh, and like, just as you can imagine, sitting in a car in Stornoway with like Alan telling crazy creation stories in the back of the car, just as you would imagine, you know. And we dropped him off at the hotel, and the next day I went to actually get him paid and send him on the plane and all that kind of stuff. And he just offered me a record deal. No demos, no songs, nothing.
Oh, wow.
And that's really what happened.
Oh, awesome. And
so he's just a good hang. He really is. I like hanging out with Alan, and I think he quite likes hanging out with me. So it's really good. We have the same, you know, it's so different to when he put a records out with Oasis. I have no expectations of thousands of pounds being thrown at me, and you know, we're on the same page about what we can achieve. I mean, I had made the record before I handed it over to him, and he had no intention of doing albums again. And you know, with the utmost of total gratitude and respect, it's because of this album that he started the label. So because he rebranded it from It's Creation Baby, Creation 23 to It's Creation Baby. I think there was a little more to it than that too, but that was what I heard.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, so as you sort of mentioned, you've just sort of put out the new album and your new single. How has it been releasing that with the sort of over the last year with coronavirus and lockdown? And
well, there was a big conversation at the start if I wanted to do it. You know, like if I wanted to do the album or not, because you know, we don't know what it's going to be like, and record sales are awful, and you know, but you know, I just honestly it was Alan that actually pushed to do it, and I agreed. I was like, well, what is there to lose, really? So maybe if we just we're going to take maybe 4 singles off it, but we're going to be pumping videos out. We've got loads of cool promo stuff coming for the whole album, and just really put it out there till we can play shows again. And hopefully at the end of it, there's more people than came to see me before at the gigs, I hope.
Cool. Do you have a date? Do you have a date for the album or anything like that?
No, not like a fixed date. Like, it's been jumping around at the moment. So like the single got moved about 3 times, I think, for one thing or another. It was meant to come out last year. So we're saying August now for the album.
Okay, cool. And did you notice any form of like sort of difference in your songwriting just because of being in lockdown and coronavirus?
gloomier for sure. I mean, I'm a pretty chipper person, but like, you know, it definitely makes you tap into some pretty dark places, I think, for sure. I just kept writing the whole lockdown. I've just wrote, made videos and did all that sort of stuff. So I think sort of what came next for me was just a fallout from the album, because so it feels like a real continuation of it. So it's probably me still getting rid of some of the baggage that I'm carrying from all that stuff. So it just kept on going.
Cool. And you have sort of covered quite a wide history, but I was just wondering if you've got any sort of top or moment or particular moments that you can think of throughout your history as a musician.
So Astrid broke up for 15 years, and then we got back together again 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and we recorded an album, and it was my favorite Astrid album actually that we'd ever done. And that year we were asked to do the Hebridean Celtic Festival in our hometown in Stornoway, and I got to say that was like the closest to tears I've ever been to in front of thousands of people. It was really amazing. It was just totally amazing. Yeah, that was a highlight. Oh. Evacuating BBC Manchester with Snow Patrol, that was a highlight too. That's not for this podcast.
So you've got the album coming out in, well, hopefully around August time. Have you got any other plans for this year?
So just singles, singles, being a daddy to my baby boys, and that's it. Like, you know, honestly, I'm just going to be family, and whenever it comes to doing a single, just doing all the stuff that I need to do for that. So I've got like a couple of streaming things coming up that if you just keep track online, you'll see. I can announce them in a few weeks and stuff like that. But hopefully, you know, towards the end of the year, maybe more stuff's going to open up and we can get playing live again. That's it. That's the goal, just to get playing live.
Yeah, I think that's the same with a lot of people really at the moment are missing either playing live or seeing live, and just that whole experience. So hopefully once it comes back, bands will be able to hit the ground running, and
it's going to be the summer of love. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
I think when we can like do festivals or some form of festival again where people can be out and there's music, it's just going to be, whether it's December or, you know, summer, it's going to be good.
Yeah, well, I heard somebody saw someone, I think it was on Twitter, say, "I'll know when everything's back to normal when I drink a glass of water at a gig that's been drunk by 5 other people on the way past." And I was like,
I know.
Okay, fair enough.
I know. Hopefully that'll be all coming back soon enough, man.
Yeah, this seems like a distant memory, but it's not been too long, and it shouldn't hopefully be too long until we're back to all that again.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, thanks very much, Charlie, for talking to me today. That was awesome.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Cameron. Thanks a lot, man.
No worries. Thank you. And thanks for watching, guys. That was Charlie Clark. Thank you very much for Charlie for taking the time to talk to me today. And I want to say a big congratulations and best of luck to him for the birth of his new twins. I will leave the links to Charlie's music in the description below. Before you go and check that out, please do make sure you subscribe to our channel, and we've got more interviews, music, and live music coming up very soon.